welcome back to the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast. This is where we explore the depths of leadership, personal growth, and the journey toward becoming our best selves. This is episode 106, and I'm your host, Cynthia Jamieson. It is a pleasure to meet you. If you are new to my world, and if you've been with me for a while, thank you for coming back. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that many of us grapple with. If you have been following me on social media, you might even have an idea of what I'm going to talk about today. And if you're not following me on social media, I don't know why not. What's stopping you? So, we are going to talk about control. Now, before I dive in, I want to share that this morning, when I was out for my walk, I was exchanging Voxer messages. So, for those of you who know what that is, perfect. For those of you who don't, it's just a way to exchange voice notes with anyone, anywhere, anytime. And I was exchanging voice notes with a dear friend of mine who's considering making a shift to a higher level leadership position. And she was believing that in order to take that role, which was higher up in her organization, that it was going to require more from them and that they would be expending more time, more energy, etc. And over the course of the exchange of these Voxer messages, we exposed this for what it was, which was the need for control, which has so many more layers when you think about leveling up to your leadership. I don't know if I've ever said this before, but I have been known to say it. It's like new level, new devil. So here's a spoiler alert because I am going to create, I'm really super excited to do this, an entire episode on the phases of leadership because there's a lot of assumptions that human brains make. And especially as it relates to this individual that I was exchanging these notes with, they have already done this level above position before and had intentionally made a choice to take a step back and now wants to potentially take the step back forward again. So it was really considering what they wanted to be different this time than the last time. So with that said, I love beautiful human brains, don't you? Now, let's begin our conversation today because we have all been there, right? This overwhelming urge to manage every detail, to ensure that everything goes according to the plan. And whether it's in our personal life or our professional life, as a leader, as a just a person living life, the need to control can be relentless. But let's be honest. I want you to come closer. Let's be real honest with one another. It's also exhausting. It can lead to burnout, strain relationships, and stifle the very creativity that we need now in the world more than ever to thrive and to bring those innovative solutions forward. So, what do you think the antidote is for control? I think it's trust. Trust. Trust is one of those concepts that sounds so simple, but can be challenging to practice, especially when the stakes are high. But trust is the medicine that we need to give ourselves when we feel that urge within us to control. That urge is that's information. So I'm just going to put a pin in that. That's information for you to really become aware of and note and become a conscious of so that you can decide what to do about it. So I'm curious. I have a question for you. When was the last time that you truly trusted the process? When you let go of the need to manage every outcome and simply allowed things to unfold. Now, this is not about being passive. This is not about avoiding responsibility, but it's about recognizing that the best results often come from letting go. Let me share a quick story with you. I was working with a client at a Fortune 500 company, struggling with micromanaging teams of employees and contractors. There were a lot of people here in this organization that they were leading. And she was so caught up in the details, believing that if she didn't oversee every little thing, that the project would fall apart. But This approach was draining her energy. She was working long days already and then started working weekends, and her behavior was creating tension in her team because if you're in the weeds, you're not making the decisions at the right level or allowing others to bring their gifts and their talents to the work, right? So we worked on shifting her focus to trust. Now, she started by delegating small tasks with people that she knew without hovering, with giving clear expectations, which allowed her team members to step up into their own responsibility. I mean, at the end of it, and this is what she said to me, like, they're getting paid really good money to do their job. And I said, yes, and how are you contributing to the problem? Right? So over time, and I'm laughing, right? And I'm laughing because I have done this myself. There is nothing that I have coached on, there is nothing that I have said on this podcast that I have not experienced hand on heart and done myself. That's how come I know there's another way. So back to my client. Over time, she noticed not only an improvement in the quality of work, their work, and her work, but also in team morale. And by trusting her team, she empowered them to take ownership, and the results exceeded her expectations. Right? So when we're wanting to control everything, what we don't often see is what is available, right? Because this wasn't just about the work, it was about letting go of control and trusting in others. So if you saw or heard yourself in this story, I wouldn't be surprised because while I'm thinking of this particular client, this is such a common theme that I see, that I hear in the work that I do. And at the root of it, it's a search for safety. It's a search for security, which is only a problem when we seek that safety and security outside of ourselves, right? Like if we're waiting for and anticipating and relying and counting on someone else to do something outside of us so that we can be okay, that's a problem, right? You can learn to create safety within, and that's the work that I do with the clients that I have. So, when you learn to trust the process, you acknowledge that not everything is within your control, and that's totally okay. Life often unfolds in ways that, listen, we might not have planned because there's always things happening behind the curtain that we can't see. And those unexpected turns or things that we can't see can lead us to something even better. But we can't even consider that when we're focused on control. Sometimes, though, the universe will close doors for you if you can't close them yourself. So when you trust your team, you empower those around you to step up, to take ownership, and to contribute their unique perspectives. And it's that kind of action, it's that kind of leadership, it's that kind of behavior that creates a culture of collaboration and innovation where everyone feels valued and engaged. Not, and just notice I'm going to put emphasis on the word feels. You can feel valued or engaged, or people can tell you that you're valued, engaged, and you don't feel anything. There is a huge difference there. So, most importantly, when you trust yourself, you allow your intuition and your experience to guide you. When you can get yourself to this place, you let go of the fear of failure. And when you let go of that, you're able to embrace the possibility that you are enough just as you are. And I say this comment about that you are enough because I truly believe that every one of us, whatever is holding us back, comes to at the root of the root, at the root, at the root. If we dive deep to the very, very bottom, you try to get the root out of it, it's this fear that we are not enough in whatever way, right? And I want to tell you, like, what would be different? I want to challenge you. What would be different if you just agreed? Those are table stakes. Everybody here is enough. Then how would that impact your ability to let go of control and to trust? Now, I know hand on heart. I know that this is easier to say than to do, especially if you are someone who's used to being in control. So I got you. How do we build that trust? How do we move from control to trust, particularly in high pressure situations. So I have a few strategies that I found helpful. The first one is just start small. Trust is not built overnight. Begin by letting go of control in small areas, in small ways, in small places. Delegate a task without micromanaging, without the following up, or let a conversation flow without steering it on a specific direction. Notice how it feels and what the outcomes are. So it might feel uncomfortable. Are you willing to feel uncomfortable? Right? Is what you're wanting more desiring to you than what you're having right now? The second thing is to reflect on your past successes. So actually, even though your brain tells you you can't let go of control, think about times when you have trusted the process and it worked out, perhaps even better than you expected. And let those memories, like, like even allow yourself to visualize the specifics of them, but allow those memories to reinforce your belief in the power of trust. The third strategy is to focus on what you can control. This is about shifting your focus to the things that you can control, which are your actions, your mindset, your reactions, your intentions, right? And let go of the rest, knowing that you've done your part. Another way of saying this, which I like, is stay in your lane, right? Like this is your lane. Stay in that as a leader, as an individual contributor that's high performing, as the person who's wanting the promotion. Like stay in your lane and allow other people to stay in their lane. This would be like your leader, your team, your kids, whatever. But let people stay in your lane. Don't micromanage. It can be super useful to just think about this concept if it's like putting like staying in a lane is like a concept of a car, right? We don't go over, we don't want to go over to the other side of the lane. And we only want to pass when we're in a passing lane. So use the analogy for yourself. Another strategy is to cultivate self-compassion. Now, trusting yourself also means being kind to yourself when things don't go as planned, because that's possible, right? And that will happen. So anticipate it and recognize that setbacks are just a part of the journey, not the end of it. Truly. This is a lot of the work that I do with my clients is around self-compassion, and I can't speak about it enough. Now, the last strategy is to empower your team. So when you're leading others, trust isn't just about delegation. It really isn't. It's about empowerment. And when you empower your team, you're not just handing off tasks, you're building their confidence, you're building their creativity, you're building their capacity to lead. This trust in others fosters a culture where innovation thrives and everyone feels invested in success. And this is so important. So the next time that you feel the pull, right, that urge, that pull to control everything around you, just remember the medicine for the need to control is trust. Trust in the process, trust in others, and trust in yourself. Now, embracing trust doesn't mean that you stop caring or striving for excellence. It means that you allow space for the unexpected, the creative, and the collaborative. It means that you give yourself and those around you freedom to grow. Now, let's take a moment to reflect. I want to invite you to think about a situation where you've been holding on too tightly. What would it look like if you trusted more? Whether it's trusting the process, trusting someone on your team, or trusting yourself, how might things shift? Now, I've said this before on the podcast, and I'm likely to say it again after today. So bear with me. But you, when you feel into the energy behind this action that you'll take, or underneath this action that you will take for yourself, and when you do that, you will know your motivation. If it feels constrictive, if it feels lacking, if it feels tight, you are holding on to control. That's what's happening. And if it feels expansive, you're letting go. Right? So another analogy, or you can think about like if I'm in the water and I'm like thrashing in the water, that's how it feels sometimes when I'm in my control versus if I'm in the water and I allow myself to float. That's a very different experience when I know that the water has got me, when I know that I have me, when I know that I have my team member. That can be a game changer. So the key is to pause, to notice, and to make a conscious choice. Now, speaking of conscious choices, I just want to pause for a moment and say thank you so much for joining me today on the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I would so love to hear your thoughts. You can connect with me on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on all the things and send me a DM. I would love to hear from you. I love hearing from you. And before we wrap up, here's a quick recap of what we've discussed. Trust in the process allows life to unfold in unexpected, often beneficial ways. Wouldn't that be fun? Like, what if you woke up every day just expecting that? Like, something exciting is going to happen, and I can't wait to find out what it is. Trusting your team empowers them to step up and contribute more creatively. Trusting yourself enables you to move beyond fear and embrace your intuition. So, until next time, keep leading with heart. And remember, sometimes the best way to lead is to let go. So, until next week, take care and trust the journey. See you soon. Hey, leader. Thanks for tuning in to the Who Are You to Lead Anyway podcast. I hope today's episode inspired you to embrace your authentic leadership journey. I want to invite you to join my mailing list at www.cynthiajamiesoncoach.ca and claim your copy of Your Inner Compass, a guide to charting your course to authenticity. This guide will help you understand what truly matters most to you. My vision is to empower individuals to live and lead lives in harmony with their core values, become catalysts for positive change, and navigate transitions, all while fostering connection and belonging in the world. Lastly, your feedback shapes this show, so I would be honored if you would subscribe, rate, and review. Thank you so much for being a part of this community dedicated to authentic leadership. Together, let's make a meaningful difference in this world.